cartwheel. No, this ain't right. No, there's gotta be more than the rat race. Gotta be more. Who said we were lost in the first place? What makes them sure? Never been here before, so I'll never be the girl that I was. See, I'll never use the past as a crutch. Seems like right now might really be all that I got. Currency right now is my dreams, my love, my art. Can I live? Can I live? Can I live? Can I live? Just live with me. All I wanna do is, I'm just saying, all I'm trying to do is live, yeah. With all fear, self-doubt, and self-deprecate. With a heart on my sleeve and a dream to chase. In a world, in a wood, in another time. Deep breath, fresh air, and a crystal sky. And a faithful guy on an open mic. Or with the spotlight on and the bass up bright. Is it too much to ask for in this lifetime? Oh, I believe there's more than these city walls. I got wings, so I hardly fly. Say the bird's eye view so beautiful, but you won't get there until you take flight. Can I live? Can I live? Can I live? Can I live? Just live with me. All I wanna do is, I'm just saying, all I'm trying to do is live. Can I live? Can I live? Can I live? Can I live? Just live with me. All I wanna do is, I'm just saying, all I'm trying to do is live.
Now the Democrats are politicizing the coronavirus. You know that, right? Coronavirus. They're politicizing it. We did one of the great jobs. You say, how's President Trump doing? They go, oh, not good, not good. They have no clue. They don't have any clue. They can't even count their votes in Iowa. They can't even count. No, they can't. And this is their new hoax. But, you know, we did something that's been pretty amazing. We're 15 people in this massive country. And because of the fact that we went early, we could have had a lot more than that. We will do everything in our power to keep the infection and those carrying the infection from entering our country. We have no choice. Whether it's the virus that we're talking about or many other public health threats, the Democrat policy of open borders is a direct threat to the health and well-being of all Americans. Now, you see it with the coronavirus. You see it. I also created a White House virus task force. It's a big thing, a virus task force. I requested $2.5 billion to ensure we have the resources we need. And so far, we have lost nobody to coronavirus in the United States. Nobody. And it doesn't mean we won't, and we are totally prepared. It doesn't mean we won't. But think of it. You hear 35 and 40,000 people, and we've lost nobody, and you wonder the press is in hysteria mode.
They say life is what you make it. I'm a legend in the making. I know just what I'm made of. They say life is what you make it, yeah. But I'm a legend in the making, yeah. I know just what I'm made of, yeah, yeah. They say life is what you make it. But I'm a legend in the making. I know just what I'm made of. They say life is
It's a time. It's a time. I tell you what. A hoax. It's gonna go away by Easter. Oh, we're gonna have a beautiful Easter. Kids are gonna be out. They're gonna be getting the eggs. It's gonna be amazing. You know, I was told to make sure that I remember Michelle Obama and Joe Biden and go high, not to go low. Yeah, my wife said try to be understanding and compassionate. And my compassion and understanding is for the over 300,000 that we have lost in deaths. And now almost 7 million people who have contracted this hoax. And people that have committed suicide due to depression or being stuck inside and lost their jobs and businesses that would never come back. So I'm not low and I'm not high. I'm hanging mid and really swinging more to low. But I can say karma's a bitch. So if that's me being low and not high, I admire Joe Biden for the prayers and the well wishes, and I don't want anybody to die. I don't care how evil you are. I don't wish death on anyone. But I do know karma's a bitch. So as I'm just saying, and we're out, we're here, we're early, we're going to be with you for just a short time. We want to talk about karma, and we want to talk about a hoax. As you know, last night the news broke that Hope Hicks had contracted COVID-19 and was sick. Well, when I heard that, I said to myself, she's always under Trump. I don't know why, but she's always under him. I said, to my wife, I said, he's going to test positive. Now, I didn't have a clue at that time that, I did my hands for Denise always make me look at that matrix, because probably I tell people they need to do like that with Trump. But I did not know that the test for him would be 30 minutes or so. So I called, so as I'm getting ready to prepare dinner, I hear he's positive and his wife. What do I do? Poor young woman in front of me. What do I always do? I think she knows that her phone is gonna ring when we hear stuff. And she didn't laugh about him having it. Her laugh was like, I knew your ass was gonna call. So guys, I do have a wonderful Denise Mins, and that you're gonna start learning if you haven't got it yet. And the only way you can't get it is if you with the hoax man. Is that this woman is brilliant and knows what she's talking about. So I'm going to turn this over to her. I've had my moments of fame just now, letting you know that our breaking news is that the president and the first lady, oh, that was hard to say. So that's me giving respect for you having COVID. Because I've never called you the president nor her the first lady. So the president and the first lady tested positive for COVID-19. And he has been flown to Walter Reed Hospital. I thought it was a hoax about the hoax. Until, like someone said, I did see on Facebook that he had not tweeted, went in social media for 17 or 18 hours. And I said, oh, hell. Okay. So, Denise Mins Harris, I need you to, like they did Air Force, I need you to guide us through this and tell us what's going on. First of all and foremost, when you first heard this, people need to keep in mind, the shows are there. Go back and listen to what this woman tells us. Because, am I going to win $1 million if I buy a lotto ticket, Denise?
I'm telling.
Because her predictions from way back through December with Kamala have been on point. So now I'm going to ask Denise, how do you think he knew he already had it? Do you believe he has it? And I'm going to let you answer all that. And where are we at with it? Here's the thing. Do you think he had it when you heard it? Do you believe he has it now? And what are we going to do?
I didn't initially, it was too shocking to believe. But, well, when I heard Hope Hicks had it, I didn't doubt that. And then, he was getting tested. That made sense. But when he was diagnosed as having it, which I heard before I went to bed, it disturbed my sleep because it has national domino effect. For instance, he met with this woman yesterday who they want to make the new Supreme Court justice. So she got to go quarantine for 2 weeks. All those senators who met with her up close and personal got to now quarantine for a couple of weeks. That stuff's on hold. They can't keep pushing this nomination. So that's going to bring us closer to the election. Other senators have already been diagnosed as positive. Mike Lee, for one. He met yesterday, Trump did, Wednesday, with some major Republican donors, knowing he might be positive. Because she was symptomatic on Tuesday. She got tested. Then Wednesday, it really started coming down on her. She got tested Wednesday. She found out Thursday. So they were playing this on the edge for a few days. It wasn't some like, oh, guess what? Well, the logical thing to do is go get tested. They played around the edges on this. And he possibly infected those major donors. He possibly infected this Amy Barrett, who they're trying to make a judge. Mitch McConnell was escorting her around. There's all kinds of contact tracing they need to do. Things on his side of the aisle with those folks are about to halt. I don't care that they tell me that, these people got tested yesterday and right now they're clean. Well, it takes 2 to 4 days to manifest any symptoms at all. And then got the nerve today to not be wearing masks. I watched the newscast of Trump being taken to the airplane. Now, if you study the mask like I have, there's little cute cloth ones, people wear them, they're black or baby blue. And then there are the N95s. Now, the N95s look like duckbills. They got that little point at the nose. Everyone around Trump had on an N95. He was the only one in his unmitigated arrogance. He was the only one today walking around with a little black face mask on. But at least that was some kind of concession to the fact that he is sick. But his respect for the life of others is still sorely lacking. And, they say Melania just has a mild cough. Well, that's how it starts. But like you said, karma is a bitch. And this is a guy who is a self-proclaimed germaphobe. So he's probably out of, it's not funny, but he's probably out of his damn mind freaking out that he got the COVID. He really believed he was invincibly white and therefore entitled and therefore above it all. COVID don't care. COVID don't care who you are. And to Biden's credit, he's pulling all of the ads that he is directly criticizing Trump. He's only running the ads where he talks about, when I'm your president, this is what I will do for you. I saw his speech today. It was a class act. It was a class act. And when you consider it was just 3 nights ago that they had the debate and Trump was ridiculing him for wearing a mask wherever he goes. But look who's on the campaign trail and look who's stuck in Walter Reed, about to put his ass on a ventilator. See, I'm cussing.
That's what happened. But see, we can cuss because we trying to be understanding with the situation, because see, Biden can send me them ass and I'll run them son of a bitches. Because I just wish I felt that he would, if this had been reversed,
Oh,
this
there's
is
no
not,
question.
no, he would been, this would have been a whole, but that's the thing. I guess that's why Michelle Obama said when they go low, you go high. And
And by the way, we don't go high because of what it does to them. We go high so we don't forget who we are.
that's right.
Because if we become like them, then what have we won?
And what
I mean,
becomes of us? Oh,
this country has a pandemic. It has an economic crisis. It has an educational crisis. It has this election going on. It has the judiciary's in crisis. This country is in crisis. And now we got him on the borderline.
well, let's talk about that because you were mentioning with him being on the borderline. And mind you, we already should know now when they tell us something is minor, it's
Major.
minor. So we know this from when he said it was a hoax.
Right.
So where are we, this country? Because Pence, no one has been appointed for anything, and we already were in a sham of a everything that was put together that had strength behind it that the Obama party did. He came in and dismantled. So now where are we?
Well, there's a couple of things. It's incremental. The first thing is the reason why we have not been able to get this pandemic under control is because that 40% who follow him believe wholeheartedly. When he first said it was a hoax, they are holding on to that. They're saying he's just saying it's not now so he can get reelected. But they don't believe they have to worry about it. Now, if they get smart and say, with all the protection he's taken, if he can get it, I can get it. If they now start wearing masks and practicing social distancing and hand washing, it's so simple. We can get the country under control. So I'm hoping that that might be one of the ramifications of him becoming ill. The other thing is that we do have it built into our Constitution that if he's not able to be the president, if he goes unconscious, I think there were 3 times in history. Once when I believe Bush was going under for a gallbladder surgery, he signed over to his VP. There were 3 occasions when presidents in the past, under anesthesia, because you know there's always a danger you're not going to come out, they signed over their presidential responsibilities to their VP, and then when they came out of anesthesia, they went back into their authority. Trump hasn't done that as far as we know. Because this is not a very transparent and honest administration.
Not at all.
Trump, to our knowledge, has not done that. But also, he doesn't have to. If, like many of these patients, he's on that ventilator and he can't be communicated with, his cabinet can elect to give that authority to Pence. Now, Pence and his wife have tested as free of COVID. But if Pence should come down with COVID, the next in line to run the country
is Nancy Pelosi. Jan, thank you for watching. Keep watching us. But it's Nancy Pelosi. Now, if I was a betting person, I'm going to tell you it's going to end up in Nancy's hands.
We'll see where all these pieces fall within the next 2. In the next 2 weeks, nobody can lie about anything. In the next 2 weeks, if Stephen Miller goes down, Jared Kushner goes down, all those people, because everyone keeps talking about how there's no room on Air Force One. You can't isolate on Air Force One. Those people walking up and down the stairs, holding onto the handrail behind each
Yes.
other. It was very interesting.
And Pence was around Trump.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. So that's my thing about everything, is that he was around him too. And so in the interim of all of this, this is like remember, this is the October surprise.
Absolutely. This is as big as it gets.
And I was telling someone, I said, you know, I had foreseen it. I said, now what if, and I never foreseen anything of death on him, which tells you how we are. But I said, what if he goes into a coma, doesn't come out till like February, and the election is taking place? That's just me though, you know, in a perfect world. And say he wake up and say, what happened? Well, your stuff is at Mar-a-Lago, and Biden has already been sworn in.
It's at the federal penitentiary.
Yeah. But I'm saying this to say, and this is real quick because you're going to take it. I'm saying this to say, you sat there in that debate and said in front of everybody that you didn't mind if the white supremacy groups and all of these Proud Boys shot, killed, threatened, did whatever so that you could win. You didn't want to, you're not voting on trying to give any kind of stimulus plan for the people. You're not trying to do anything, and they keep telling you people are dying and dying, and you didn't even want to use the word. So somewhere in there, I believe in God. And if you don't, then the universe, and we say karma. That's why we said karma's a bitch. But I say that you reap what you sow. But in the mix of this, he probably never thought about this. You know, never thought, like, for instance, all of this that you're doing now, when you're talking about you're going to threaten older people, sickly people, trying to get to vote, you know, and you're going to have somebody staring down on them, somebody could come up dead. Well, the powers that be said enough dying, enough killing, enough. You have not learned your lesson. So we see now that I got to stop you, because I don't believe in my spirit that Pence or the Republicans, without Trump sitting there pushing buttons, staring them down, would try to contest this. But what do you think?
Would try to contest what?
Say that Biden won.
Yeah.
And it was close, but not real close.
Well, the thing is that I believe the election will be a landslide on Biden's behalf. I'm just too close to the pulse of what's happening in the communities.
Yes.
I'm talking like just a tidal wave of people who have posted on social media that after the debate, they took their Trump signs down. And because you have to understand, Trump got elected as an experiment. People, my whole life, people have said the country should be run like a business. You've heard it.
Yeah, we've heard it.
Run like a business. Well, unfortunately, they gave the presidency to a bad businessman. Everything he touched turned to shit. It never worked. So, and the other problem with the businessman they chose was that he never had any stockholders. It was a family-run business. So no one ever told him no, and he was never held accountable. As Americans, if he's we're the stockholders. Mm-hmm. But he don't listen to us. He only listens to the people he believes are his investors. Unfortunately, if you follow my analogy, they're the minority. They were the people who said, well, let's try it. Those people are the independents and the folks who, they voted for Obama because they thought Obama's, one of his primary selling points was, I'm going to change the way we do business in America. I'm going to change the way things are done in DC. Okay. Mm-hmm. He went, he used all his equity to get 20 million people health care. I was one of them. After that, because they did such a good job slandering him, he lost his Democratic House and Senate. He had no more equity. He did what he could, but those Republicans, they said, like, you may want to change the way things get done, but we got this, and we're not changing anything.
Yeah, but let's also realize that he lost his House and Senate because a lot of us, once he became president, did show up for primary and don't realize how important it is to show up.
The good news is we've learned.
Yes.
If we hadn't learned that lesson, we would not have flipped 43 seats in Congress.
Oh, I believe it. That's what they don't realize. We've learned.
We've learned, and we've learned down to the dog catcher. We've learned. We've learned because now we have turned to understand. When, this is a big digression, but when Michael Brown got killed,
Yeah.
I will never forget when Al Sharpton went down there and he was talking at the funeral and he said, you've got this police department that hates you and kills you indiscriminately, yet only 12% of black people voted in the last election, and this is a predominantly black town. How is that possible? After that, they all got registered. They got a black mayor, a black chief of police. Oh no, they learned. They learned. So what I'm saying is, this whole thing going on with Trump right now, I believe there's going to be a landslide because those people who made the bet, they're admitting, I lost the bet. He wasn't the right person.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he would change because he kept saying he would change if he was elected. He kept saying, I'll be more presidential once I'm elected. I'll reach out to the other side. He said it. I heard him. I watched him. I knew he was a liar. So that group, that very large group of the people who voted originally for Obama because they thought Obama was going to blow it all up, then they said, well, maybe Trump will blow it all up. But what he's done was destroy the fabric of our society. They didn't want that. He said he was going to drain the swamp. He brought in the scum at the bottom of it. 17 people around him have been indicted, and most of them, almost all of them, either have been found guilty or their case isn't over. No one has walked who's been charged. So even people who I work with who support Trump, I ask them, why is he surrounded by people like this? What does that say about his character? Because my grandma used to say, water seeks its own level. So how can they all be corrupt and criminal, and he's not? Those are his boys. Come on now. So, you know, I can't feel more sorry for him than I feel for the families of the more than 200,000 people that have died. It doesn't pull any emotion from me, but it worries me for the country because we're very destabilized right now. And we have to be vigilant. We have to stay united. And we can't get sucked into no sympathetic, no. We must be even more determined to
vote.
Get him out of there.
That's what I'm saying.
And we must educate ourselves. And I'll tell you why. Our vote has to be better than a vote against Trump. Our vote has to be for an informed vote for Biden. We have to inform ourselves, make sure we're informed about what Biden is promising. And I'll tell you why. When they passed the Voting Rights Act and Dr. King was up there with Johnson, and Dr. King said, okay, the next thing we have to do is X, Y, Z. And Johnson looked at him and he said, make me. And Dr. King said, what do you mean, make you? He said, you have to create such a hue and cry for this law in the streets that no one can stop you from having it. So Biden can have the biggest wish list he wants, but we can't relax after the election and say, I can go back to my life now. No, your life must be committed to being improved. How you live in society. So you can't divorce yourself from the everyday what's going on in your world. You have to hold people accountable. You have to hold them accountable for what they promised they would do if you put them in office. You can't go to sleep at the wheel. That's what I want to say about that.
And that makes sense. We do have to hold them accountable. But let me ask you one question. It's just me when you were talking, something hit me, and I said, I got to ask her this. What if because you said landslide, and I believe you. I feel it in my body. It's an energy that's given off. And with this and after that debate, I felt it even more. But now here's the thing. What if this is Trump's hoax and way out? And we're going to end soon. But what if this is, you don't think so, so that Pence could pardon him?
No. Look, I don't care if that man don't go to jail. I really don't care. I mean, I don't have a thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a mass murderer.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, on one level you could call him that. But
I
mean,
did. I think so.
He's not a serial killer. He did.
He's a murderer.
He did white collar crime. I don't care about that. It didn't make my taxes go up or down. Not his behavior that he's being investigated for. I don't care if he don't go to jail. I really don't. I just want him out of the way and I want him thoroughly painted as the loser he is through an in-depth court trial, so that the only people left to follow him are the poor boys or whatever they call themselves.
Mm-hmm. The Proud Boys.
I
don't know what you said it right though, because they ain't shit to be proud of. You just some poor ass boys that's getting on my damn nerves.
Yeah, I mean, there'll always be a segment of society, unfortunately, who are racist. But you know, when I went to Japan is, everyone's the same race. So in Japan, it's a class segregation. Human nature seems to aspire to, I don't know if it's human nature or if it's capitalism, whatever it is, there has to be a definition of who's on top and who's on bottom. That's just the way it is. So if it wasn't that, it'd be who's got bushy eyebrows.
Yeah.
It'd be, you know what I'm saying? It's like, unfortunately, this is the immature human nature, you know. And then you have the mature human nature, which we aspire to be, where we can see everybody as our brother and sister, ideally. But no, I don't have any bloodlust to see Trump in jail. I just want his reputation so thoroughly acknowledged as being who he truly is, that he no longer can really influence outcomes in this country. That's why I want a trial, so that there's no escaping. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, even his thing with Stormy Daniels, white women accepted that. You know why? Because their husbands do it.
Yeah, but it didn't make it right. What about, we'll get to that. He has a lot he's got to answer for. He's got a young lady right now that has I still say young lady, and has charges against him. And and they're still, he's got his minions fighting that. So much to answer for. Yet, like we said, we don't wish I don't want to wish anything on you.
I'd be happy if he was found guilty of rape. I'd be happy with that. But what I'm saying is, the only reason why I want a case is so that his reputation is so thoroughly and publicly shredded that his ability to influence millions is
taken away,
sufficiently diminished. There'll always be the yahoos that follow him, you know, because they see something in it for them. But now everybody knows he's broke.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later, because
$121 million about to be called due and payable, and he ain't got no money.
Did you see the little thing on YouTube and on Facebook, Instagram, with the little boy? They said that Jalen has $1 and 25 cents, $1 bill, 1 quarter, and 2 pennies. And the little boy looked up and said, "Jalen broke." And everybody was like, "Wrong." I said, yeah, that's what they're gonna be saying about Trump. Trump is broke. See, the thing about that is, if the truth comes out, but I do want them, if it's just house arrest, he needs to be put away. He needs to be away from people for a minute. And it's not because even in loss, he should not be still out spewing the venom of hate that he's trying to. Because he's got to be.
That may be the only way he can get money.
Is selling books and still lying.
Go having big rallies and charging people to come see him and selling his merchandise, and so
Well, you just gave the sick man a way out, the way to make some money. New foundations, but
he don't need me to say that. At his rallies, he's selling Trump face masks.
But he tell them not to wear them. maybe that's why he tell them not to wear them so he can sell them there.
Unbelievable.
But listen, the thing about this is that we're gonna get ready to let you go. I don't want to. I pulled your Friday long enough. I want you to have some time with your family. But in closing, though, how do you think this outcome is going to? And this everybody knows I'm only asking an opinion of what you think, but I do know you have a pulse on everything, and you're working with things like this consistently. Now, this one has been like a really November surprise. This beat any damn email Hillary had, 4 years ago. So how do you see this playing out?
His health or the election?
Both.
Well, 8 out of 10 people who have died from COVID fit Trump's current profile by age and health circumstances. So I don't know if he's going to survive. That's my honest opinion. He's got a 50-50 chance of surviving because there is no treatment for COVID. I don't care what hospital they put him in. There's no treatment. That's the whole point of why it's so frightening and why we got to wear these damn masks. If we could just get a shot in the butt and keep it moving, society
people just be getting their butt shot up. You're right.
So he's incredibly high risk because this administration has never been transparent. We've never got an honest readout about his health, but you can look at him. I can tell you right now, he got cholesterol issues, he got blood pressure issues, he's got heart failure issues. The man don't sleep. If you don't rest and you don't eat right, you got heart failure issues.
Well, Rick James said cocaine's a hell of a drug. I'm sorry.
More than that, don't forget, he was rushed to the hospital a couple of weeks ago, and nobody knows why.
Yeah, this was really a few months back, but it was true. But remember, he said out of his own mouth, I did not have 17 strokes. Or however many strokes it was.
He's in a high-risk group. He's been under high stress. He eats. It was said, and I didn't verify it personally, but I trust the person who told me. It was said that he's paranoid about being poisoned, so he sends his aide to a different McDonald's every day to get his food. He's eating McDonald's, for God's sake. Because he's afraid somehow they'll poison him. Crazy. So, I don't know if he's going to live. That's just straight up. I don't even think he will, to be honest with you. No one his age, I haven't heard of anyone his age having a mild case. And I've seen a lot of people half his age.
And Herman Cain looked like he was in better shape than Trump.
And I've seen people interviewed half his age and in far better shape, far better health, who even after they've recovered still suffer lung issues and recurring symptoms. So whatever goes down, he ain't going to be 100% again ever for the rest of his life. The other thing is, I think some undecideds, because of COVID, are going to say, you know what? Why am I going to elect a president who ain't going to survive? I think so many things he was trying to pull at the last minute are being delayed because he's not there.
And let me ask you this, because you know, and we want the people to know out there that don't know. If he passes, how does this affect the election concerning with Pence? Pence is not on the ticket, right? So then it just means that...
Yes.
Well, he's on there as the VP, you're right. But now, how does that play out? Do you think people will quickly change their vote because it's Pence?
Not at all. Pence will simply say, I'm going to continue the agenda of our great leader, Donald Trump.
And so he's just there till the election is over.
Please understand that when Pence was the governor of Indiana, right before he got selected to be with Trump, he tried to pass a law in his state that when you have an abortion, you have to hold a funeral for the fetus.
Yeah, I remember that. He also was the one that was Pence, right? Was that Pence that didn't want? I know that may have been Charlotte's when they didn't want to let the LGBTQ. They had issues about that in the bathrooms and all that, and the basketball team refused to play.
Oh, he's horrifically anti-LGBTQ.
Cause he's one of us, but I won't say no more.
Well,
anytime he said I can't go be with women or nowhere, any woman with no woman, cause my wife don't want me to, and I'm looking at your wife and everything, and I'm looking at she look like you running it. So,
Dion, don't go there. Leave it alone. Stay here. Stay here. Don't go there. Stay here.
Stay up high. But I mean, I am the LGBTQ, you know, and if you got something to say about us, then why can't I call you out if I know that you my family?
Well, you know, every right the community has gained since Obama's administration has slowly but surely been getting unbalanced anyway. And this person they want to put on the Supreme Court, they're hoping is the final nail in the coffin. You know, the sect of Christianity that she practices is who the show The Handmaid's Tale was based on.
What?
Yep.
So in leaving, do you think though if Trump is out and going down, really down and out right now, and continues to be down and out or out, what will happen with this? Someone else can nominate or can do anything, right? If he's not there to push the...
No. He is legitimately and legally on the ballots in every state.
No, I'm talking about for the woman for the Supreme Court justice. How does that play out?
Well, right now everything's on big delay because she's got a quarantine for 2 weeks.
Okay, but after that, and say something happens to him as you were predicting, will then that mean they have to wait until the election is over?
They don't have to. It's up to McConnell.
Oh God, does he have COVID? I'm wrong.
He might.
They all were all up under him
with no mask.
With no mask, and Hope Hicks was everywhere Trump was. It wasn't his wife that was with him.
So let me say this: if you never needed proof of how important wearing a mask, social distancing, and washing your hands. Look, I was in the 7-Eleven, and you know, some people still aren't in the habit of being conscious, right? So I'm in the 7-Eleven, I'm at the cashier, and this gentleman was like behind me, like how you would normally stand behind someone on a checkout line. And I looked at him and I said, "Sir, with all due respect, you gotta back up. You can't be this close on me. I'm so sorry, but you have to back up." He's like, "Oh, I wasn't thinking. I was just, you know," I'm like, "It's okay, just back up." So we have to open our mouths, politely say what needs to be said, and protect ourselves, because there is a domino effect and chain reaction. Do not play thinking because you're young or because you don't have any heart or health issues. COVID don't care because it gets in your lungs. And once it gets in that respiratory system.
Hey, we had a doctor on and she said she let patients know. She said people say, "I can go to the doctor and they can fix me." She said, "No, we can't fix you.
There's no fix."
That's what she said. We don't even know what we're dealing with. It's changing and it's evolving and we can't fix you. Yeah.
It's mutating.
We can't fix you.
And guess what? Even when they get a vaccine, it will mutate. That's why there's a new flu vaccine every year, because it mutates. That's just the flu. And the flu by itself takes out 30,000 people a year. Who knew that before the coronavirus?
Yeah.
I learned that from Trump. So Trump was like, 30,000. We do that now. We do that without even thinking about it. Whew.
Well, Lord, if that's the value of life, get your ass out and vote.
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 And wear your mask. I was going to vote by mail, but now I'm packing a chair, packing a lunch.
And a mask.
Because I believe they will particularly try to target California.
Well, ain't much they can do with us. We gonna win. It's gonna be a landslide regardless of what they do. But be there.
Exactly.
I trust. I'm not, and I'm okay with the mail-in ballot. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just that person. I want to know that mine went in. So if I always went to vote. But if you're gonna do it, put it in early as you can. But I would rather you can still drop it off.
I think we need to think about who do we know who's at high risk. Like Dion, your wife should not go to the ballot. She should not go online and vote. You should take her ballot and put it in for her.
Yeah.
Too many complications.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to think about that. We need to think about who do we know outside of California who we can call and make sure they're registered, that they're set up to vote. Do they need someone to pick up their ballot? Then get on the phone and find someone to help them. And say, well, who? Because the person I'm thinking of who lives out of state, she won't ask nobody. So I just got to ask her, give me 3 names. I'll call them. No, it's going to take me a minute. I got to start working on them tomorrow. But we have to think about it.
That's why they're saying plan it, put it together, get it started, and that's what we need to do. You and I were talking about that. Someone else, young, healthier, strong, you can trust. Go drop the ballots off.
Right.
Drop them off. And guys, that's all we're saying.
And do it early.
Now, do you want to wish him any well wishes?
No.
Oh, okay. So I went by myself, but I do.
Wait. I'm with Joe. It is what it is, because you are who you are.
Guys, on that note, Denise and I only have one more thing to say. And we are not laughing about it. The sad part about it is I wish that something had hit him sooner and maybe we could have saved more lives that are lost. That's the problem. This is where we are with it. So when you think we'd slink in something, I'm like Biden. I'm thinking about those mothers who lost their children who lost parents and grandparents, and some of them they couldn't even see and had to say goodbye over a telephone when this man knew in January. And we have tapes. So I wish you what God has in store for you.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Yeah. So other than that, Denise, we tell them wear a mask and vote.
Stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands, and help somebody else get their vote in too.
And make sure that if you know someone that's not safe or not safe about or being safe about not wearing that mask, get in that ass and make sure they have a mask on. Help save some lives. It says on the screen, please wear your mask. COVID-19 is not a hoax. And for your hillbilly asses out there, your massa has COVID-19. Now, if you can't read what my screens are saying, I'm telling you, he's COVID positive. So it is no longer a hoax. Grab your damn mask. So on that note, I change and go back to my Denise and Michelle Obama way. And I tell you guys that knowledge is your power. And I bring her here and many more so that you know this. And love is everything. And even though I don't like him, I have to love him because God created it. So it is what it is. And finish it, Denise.
Because you are who you are.
Guys, have a wonderful Friday. We're going to go out with Joe Biden. Somebody Denise brought up. She's going to leave. I'm going to leave. We're going to leave you with a little bit of Joe Biden and his good words, because Denise and I had very few we could say about the man.
Until the next time.
Until the next time. Have a good one, Denise.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye, darling.
Look, I would like to start by acknowledging, which I'm sure all of you do as well, sending my prayers for the health and safety of the First Lady and President of the United States after they tested positive for COVID-19. My wife Jill and I pray that they'll make a quick and full recovery. This is not a matter of politics. It's a bracing reminder to all of us that we have to take this virus seriously. It's not going away automatically. We have to do our part to be responsible. It means following the science, listening to the experts, washing our hands, social distancing. It means wearing a mask in public, and it means encouraging others to do so as well. It means having masking mandates nationwide. The director of the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, Dr. Redfield said, and I quote, and he held up a mask, he said, "These face masks are the most important, powerful public health tool we have." Then he held the mask up again and said, "This face mask is more guaranteed to protect me against COVID than a vaccine," end of quote. Leading scientists from the University of Washington tell us that we can save more than 100,000 American lives in the next 100 days alone if everyone wore a mask in public. So let me repeat that because it's so important. We can save 100,000 lives in the next 100 days, according to the head of the CDC, if everyone wears a mask in public. So be patriotic. It's not about being a tough guy. It's about doing your part. Wearing a mask is not only going to protect you, but it also protects those around you. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, husband, wife, neighbor, coworker. Don't just do it for yourself. Do it for the people you love, the people you work with. The seriousness of this virus also underscores that we need regular testing with results turned around rapidly and that's available to everyone. It's not just the folks in the White House or who travel with me that deserve regular testing. It's folks in the meatpacking and food processing plants, grocery store workers. Every single American deserves safety and peace of mind. And it means we need transparency. Those who test positive need to participate in contact tracing so that everyone who they may have exposed can get tested themselves. That's how you stop transmission for any epidemic. It's basic. We need to take the science of fighting this disease seriously if we're going to save lives. And above all, the news is a reminder that we as a nation need to do better in dealing with this pandemic. Taking these steps is how we'll protect ourselves. And just as important is how we will protect one another. I hope that all those who are fighting this virus, including the First Family, and so many Americans today, recover and recover soon. My prayers are with the families of the more than 207,000 Americans who've died from this virus. Many of them got up this morning at the breakfast table with an empty chair of someone they lost and they loved. We understand. And there's more than 7 million Americans who are now infected, have been infected. That includes folks here in Grand Rapids and all across Michigan.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying, oh, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all.
We can't go on pretending day by day
that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We're all a part of God's great big family,
and the truth, you know, love is all we need.
We are the world,
But I'm a legend in the making. I know just what I'm made of. They say life is what you make it, yeah. But I'm a legend in the making, yeah. I know just what I'm made of, yeah. They say life is what you make it. But I'm a legend in the making. I know just what I'm made of. They say life is what you make it, yeah. But I'm a